Excerpt from Times v. Sullivan Concurrence, Justice Hugo Black. The requirement that malice be proved provides at best an evanescent protection for the right critically to discuss public affairs and certainly does not measure up to the sturdy safeguard embodied in the First Amendment. I vote to reverse exclusively on the ground that the Times and the individual defendants had an absolute, unconditional constitutional right to publish in the Times advertisement their criticisms of the Montgomery agencies and officials. The $500,000 verdict does give dramatic proof, however, that state libel laws threaten the very existence of an American press virile enough to publish unpopular views on public affairs and bold enough to criticize the conduct of public officials. The factual background of this case emphasizes the imminence and enormity of that threat. One of the acute and highly emotional issues in this country arises out of efforts of many people, even including some public officials, to continue state-commanded segregation of races in the public schools and other public places. Despite our several holdings that such a state practice is forbidden by the 14th Amendment, Montgomery is one of the localities in which widespread hostility to desegregation has been manifested. The scarcity of testimony to show that Commissioner Sullivan suffered any actual damages at all suggests that these feelings of hostility had at least as much to do with rendition of this $500,000 verdict as did an appraisal of damages. This technique for harassing and punishing a free press now that it has been shown to be possible is by no means limited to cases with racial overtones. It can be used in other fields where public feelings may make local as well as out-of-state newspapers easy prey for libel verdict seekers. In my opinion, the federal Constitution has dealt with this deadly danger to the press in the only way possible without leaving the free press open to destruction by granting the press an absolute immunity for criticism of the way public officials do their public duty. Since the adoption of the 14th Amendment, a state has no more power than the federal government to use a civil libel law or any other law to impose damages for merely discussing public affairs and criticizing public officials. We would, I think, more faithfully interpret the First Amendment by holding that at the very least it leaves the people and the press free to criticize officials and discuss public affairs with impunity. This nation, I suspect, can live in peace without libel suits based on public discussions of public affairs and public officials. But I doubt that a country can live in freedom where its people can be made to suffer physically or financially for criticizing their government, its actions, or its officials.